welcome back. Today is finally the day, after about 3 months of talking about it and preparing for it and planning for it. Today I'm finally on the Bluestack Way. I'm currently on probably the most picturesque part of it, although the whole lot of it's going to be nice and scenic. But this section is along the river between Ardra and Glenties, and it's the one section that I actually know the least about. I've walked wee bits and pieces of the Bluestack Way, and I've never been on this section, so this is all brand new to me. And just to make things even better, like you can see it there behind me, I've also got a stand of forestry, and I'm walking through some of these lovely trees as well. Some lovely mature ash trees, I think they are, along the banks of the river. So it's absolutely beautiful along this section. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to walk north to south. The official waymarked way, I suppose, on the well, on the official trail description, I suppose you would call it, it runs from Donegal town to Ardra, which is south to north. But me being me, I've decided to do it the other way around. For a couple of different reasons. It seems to make more sense to me to go north to south. I wanted to do this section at the end. There's a road section then between Loch Esk and Donegal town, so if I'm running out of daylight, that's going to be easy to do in the dark rather than doing this bit in the dark, which would be horrendous. And as well as that, Donegal town's closer to home, so whenever I finish and Katrina hopefully picks me up in the Diamond in Donegal town, somewhere between, all being well, between 5:30 and 7:30, then I'm less than half an hour from home. So yeah, so that's the target. Donegal town first of all, and then the time target after that. But yeah, finding it hard to believe I'm actually on the path now. This bit is lovely, really nice along. It's the Owen A river, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a fishing river, so the infrastructure along the banks here is really good, although in some sections it's a wee bit boggy. Only downside, and I kind of knew to expect this, is that because it's grass and because of the time of the year and because I'm out so early, my feet are soaking. So I have only almost 6 kilometers done, and for the last 2 kilometers my feet have been pretty wet, soaking in fact. I made the decision to walk in breathable trail shoes, keeping the weight down, making it more comfortable. And the majority of this route is along gravelly forest and bog roads, with some tarred roads as well, and a few sections, not very many and not very long, that are off-road. One of them is what I'm doing now along the river here, and the second is across some of the lower hillsides or open mountain and part of the Bluestack range. But anyway, I do have dry socks with me, so the hope is that the shoes will dry out once I get out of the grass and maybe get an hour down the road, that as the day warms up and the wet grass is gone and my shoes warm up, my feet warm up from my walking, that the shoes will dry out. And then the plan is at the halfway stage is to stop and change my socks, and hopefully the last half will be with dry feet. Anyway, thanks for coming along and joining me as always. I have no idea how much filming I'm going to be able to do on this walk, and what I'm going to see, or whether it's going to be a lot of me talking to the camera and saying where I am. But anyway, I hope you do enjoy it. I hope I make it to the end, and I hope you make it to the end with me as well. So as always, thanks for coming along, thanks for clicking on the video. Apart from avoiding the boggy bits, and obviously not fall in the river. The most challenging part along this walk is avoiding the giant spiders. Now that's not a phrase I expected to use in Donegal in the first Sunday in September, but anyway, that's what it is. As you can see, the path is quite overgrown with bracken on either side here, and spiders, being incredibly intelligent animals, have obviously worked out, sorry it's very buggy here, just this bit, have obviously worked out that the best way to catch insects flying up the path is to build a giant spider web across the path. And it must be successful because they're fucking huge. They must be the size of a 20p piece, or a 20-cent piece I should say. Some of them are massive, so I'm having to walk with my, what do you call it, poles out in front of me, kind of knocking them down, because the feeling of cobwebs on my bare legs is not a pleasant experience. And I don't fancy carrying 2 or 3 giant spiders the whole way to Donegal town with me. The thought of them crawling up my legs is unreal. Right, there's something a wee bit new. There's a diversion. For some reason it says Quilch on it, so they must be cutting down trees, or there must be a problem with the trees up ahead. So it means I get to cross the river on this iron bridge, and we'll see what's on the other side. So I'm in the middle of a forest track here now, so obviously the you can see the stile over there across the bridge. So the Bluestack Way is supposed to carry up the left hand bank of the river. So we've been diverted now on to the right hand side. So they're obviously building a new road and doing something to the bridge here. So I hope this doesn't mess up the route for today, but anyway, I can't get across over there, so I've no real choice but to follow this and suck it up. So we'll see. The river is lovely though. I think I'm back on the official track now again. That bridge there I just filmed, I get the feeling I would have been coming across it from the other side of the river, but gives off a real old railway vibe. Couldn't see anything marked on the map. Oh, almost missed this. As I say, I couldn't see anything marked on the map to say that there was an old railway line there or anything, but yeah, definitely gives off that vibe anyway. Jeez, it's really mucky here. Right down the edge of the river here, which is nice. You can see there just behind me where obviously whenever the river's been in flood, there's been a massive amount of water coming down there and brought all old trees and branches and crap that's been floating in the river and washed it up there in the rocks. Yeah, almost 8 kilometres done now. I don't think I'm wild far out of Glenties now, so I'm probably getting near the end of this section, but to be honest, although I've enjoyed it, I'll be glad to stop my feet getting wet and my legs getting scratched on brambles. I feel like I was in a staring competition there. I don't think they're too impressed with me being so close to them, although there is an electric fence between me and them, so it's there's 3 calves there as well. Don't know if you could see them on the camera or not, but obviously mammy cows are being very protective, keeping an eye on me, make sure I'm not going to do anything to the calves, but don't like being so close to them whenever they've got young ones there. So Usually cows will leave you alone, but if they've cattle or they've got calves with them, then they're a lot more defensive. And really bad news if you have a dog with you, but I don't. And on this section of the walk, there's no dogs allowed anyway, so because it does go through farmland. River's a lot more sedate here. It's wider, slower, probably a lot deeper as well. And just below those rocks down there, those rapids, I didn't see it rising, but I seen the big, I heard a huge splash of a fish coming up for a fly, and you can see the big ripples of it then afterwards. So it must have been quite big, because it made quite a lot of noise. So I can see why it's a fishing river anyway. Obviously plenty of stock in it. It's lovely. Let me show you what's in front of me now. It's beautiful, and the Bluestack Mountains in the background as well. So you couldn't beat that, could you? Great. I know this is all about the walk and getting the walk done and time and everything like that, but you have to stop and enjoy moments like that too. So that's me away from the river now. I'm on a path across fields here. It's a way-marked permissive path, so it's well segregated from the rest of the farmers' land, and well trodden, so not hard to follow. So this takes me up onto a tarmac road, I think, and then I'd say probably about a kilometre or so is going to take me into Glenties. That'll bring me up to almost 10k done, which I'm very happy about. It's 20% of the way, most of it off-road as well. So time wise it's probably one of the slower sections, but yeah, it's going good so far. Here we are, farmer's track anyway, first of all, so I don't know if this will bring me onto the tower or not, but it's a bit easier walking anyway. Give my feet a chance to dry out now maybe. Saw loads of ducks in the water, especially in that last section there. About 5 or 6 within the last kilometre, I'd say. But the one thing that I didn't see and surprised me, especially when there's quite a lot of fish in the water, is that there was no herons. Although I wonder, the fact that it is a fishery river, is that why there are none? Maybe the fishermen have been actively keeping them away. But I do like to see herons on the river. Nothing to do with the name obviously, but they're a very majestic and beautiful bird. Very stately when you see them stalking through the water, and absolutely beautiful in flight. The biggest, largest native bird in Ireland. So, none today though. Farmer up here must be sponsored by WKD. That's all I can think of when I see the the colour of those sheep. Oh, that is Glenties down there behind me. Fairly steep pull up from the river there. Cross the O&A River again, just after leaving Glenties. Beautiful scenery out over that way as well. That's the top of the Finn Valley, I suppose. Well, no, it's not. It wouldn't be the Finn Valley. It's the ridge as you go from Glenties to Fintown, and that's where the Finn starts. So, yeah, the O&A must flow into the loch at Fintown, and then the river that flows out the other side is the Finn, I guess. So, as I said, quite a steep wee pull up there, but I'm glad to get through Glenties. It was a bit of a milestone for me, so That was the bit of the, as I said earlier on, the bit of the walk that I know the least. This is reasonably familiar territory. I've walked at least some of this section of the Bluestack Way all the way back probably about 12 years ago when I did the Bluestack Challenge for charity for the Bluestack Foundation, which was a great day out. And I know we definitely come over that wee bridge over the O&A, so we must have walked this section as well. This bit now takes me up into the Bluestack Mountains, so the terrain's probably going to be a wee bit harder, but a good bit more mountainous. And having gone through Glenties town, I don't go through a town again now till I reach Donegal town, so not at the end. So this is the remote bit, and no opting out from now on. It's gonna, if I decide to pull the plug, it's gonna be very difficult for Katrina to come and get me. So I have no option but to keep on walking. But I'll say goodbye to the WKD Blue Sheep for now. Wonder could I get them to sponsor me. Just over 17 kilometers done now, which is approximately 1/3 of the way. This is the most difficult section of the route as well, this middle third, or hopefully a wee bit less than this middle third, because I'm a couple of kilometers into it now. But it's very boggy. I didn't expect it to be as boggy as this, as it really is. On the map it's shown as a track, and I expected it to be more of a bog track, like a farmer's track, kind of rough gravel and so on, but it's very, very boggy, very wet, very heavy going, which means that my feet are absolutely soaking again, which I didn't plan for at all. I was hoping my feet would dry out a good bit by this stage, and so I'm a wee bit worried about blisters now, but listen, nothing I can do about it at this stage. But this is definitely a walk for boots or some kind of waterproofing. The trail shoes are good and comfortable and all the rest, but I stepped into a couple of boggy bits that have gone, well, one of them went right up over the top of my shoe, which was shit, but the breathable panels are just soaking up too much water and not getting a chance to dry out. This section of the walk also, oh, there's another hole. This section of the walk also has the most elevation as well, so with a bit of a steep climb up out of Glenties, and I have another climb over another ridge in the actual Bluestacks, and I think it takes me very close to a summit up there as well, one of the summits that I haven't reached on the Bluestacks yet, so I might just go up and divert about 50 meters off the way and tap that one out as well. But oh, some good news. That's a proper track now. Thank God, because I was getting heartily sick of that bog track. You can see just what I've been walking down along there, and that's actually the good bit of it. The wind's got up quite strong in the last wee while, which hasn't been bad either. You can hear it probably in the trees here behind me. It's been quite strong out of the west, but it's kept my temperature down, which I'm happy about. I don't really want to overheat today. I'd rather be a wee bit on the cool side than the hot side. So, and the other benefit is it's keeping all the flies and midges and everything in Galway, so I'm not getting tortured. Haven't had to resort to wearing the midge net while I'm walking. So, weather-wise, it's a bit grey and gloomy, which is actually perfect walking weather for me. I do like it. Coming over the last wee section there, I could see out over the excuse me, up over the higher hills, quite a lot of low cloud. I was getting a wee bit concerned maybe I might get a shower, but that strong wind seems to have blown it all away, so fingers crossed that I might get through this, maybe not with dry feet, but at least with a dry head. Yeah, I'm glad to see this track. It's cheered me up a good bit, so hopefully this continues for quite a while now. Kind of forget when you come across all these wee bog tracks and roads in the middle of the hills and what seems like desolate landscape, or very remote landscape, that once upon a time, as these wee homesteads show, this was somebody's home. This is still somebody's farmland, still being grazed with sheep. And there's quite a few of these kind of old homes dotted about, old farms. Unfortunately, they're not all in as good a condition as this one, but would have been a tough existence living up here. You're right on the edge of the Bluestack Mountains, and I'd say during a harsh winter it would have been cut off, and just depending on your very local neighbours. Although just at the other, I just passed up at that end of the track as well, there's another wee house there, and I see one just across the river as well. So maybe there was a community living here as well, supporting each other and looking after each other, possibly all related to each other as well. Might have been all the one family, but it's just it's quite sad to see them empty and not totally abandoned. But when I see places like this, I always wonder, what's the story to tell? You know, what that building has a story, it has a history. What happened to the family that was living here? Did they gain prosperity and move away to somewhere easier and nicer? Or was it an old couple left, maybe an old man, old woman on their own? Maybe their family all moved away and left them, and maybe they spent their last days here, and now it's been abandoned or just been used as a farm, you know. Just makes me wonder sometimes. It sounds sad, but I'm not sad about it, but just was a wee bit just curious. I'd love to know the story, I really would. This section's definitely familiar now. I just had a memory come back to me from the Bluestack Challenge walk about 12 years ago. So just down, and there's a green field there just in front of the trees down there. And on the Bluestack Challenge, we started in Glenties that day. I think it was a walk just over 30k. It was here the army met us. They had big cook tents set up down there in the field, and they made us all bacon buddies. It was absolutely brilliant. And all I gotta say is I would murder one now, absolutely murder it. It was a very welcome break that time. The other thing I remember as well, this was the opportunity people had to you could left a bag with boots in it and change into your boots here, because the next bit is up over the mountain, and then I think the van met at the far side of the mountain again. You could change back from boots into lighter shoes. So that's not for me today, unfortunately, but it does mean the mountain's coming up. So bacon buddy. I would love it, absolutely love it. So the junction just behind me is where the alternative lowland route goes to Donegal town. I'm walking the official route, and it takes you up over the mountain ridge, and some of that doesn't have a proper track, although it will be still waymarked. It's not a proper track, and I suppose for inexperienced walkers or anyone tackling this in bad weather and we're a wee bit unsure about going over the mountain, then the alternative lowland route gives them an opportunity to continue the walk and do it in a more safe and comfortable way. But for me, it's take the high road instead of take the low road, and stick to the official route. Nice wee river coming down here along beside me though. Nice and picturesque. Good old Bluestacks. So that's the highest point of the walk completed. That was a bit of a tough slog all the way up from Glenties up to the top of this ridge. and now I've started to drop back down again. I've almost 23 kilometers done, and I can see the halfway point just out there in the distance in front of me. I don't know if you'll be able to make it out on the camera, but there's kind of a patch of greener grass down there, just at the end of a line of forestry trees, and that's believe it or not, that's a football pitch. It's up here in the middle of nowhere, but it's I think it's 27 kilometers to there, 26, 27, something like that. It's in the Sallows area, I think you call it. I've no idea what football club it is, but I'm hoping that has an outside tap where I can get water to carry me all the way through to the end. If it doesn't, I do have my water filter with me, so I can get a stream somewhere and filter water, but just be an awful lot easier just to fill it out of a tap. I have to say, that was a real slog up to that high point. The ground is so wet and boggy, and such slow going. The trail shoes were a bad idea for this. My feet are absolutely soaking, although saying that, the worst hole that I went into, I would have needed really good boots and gaiters on me to stop my feet getting wet in it, because I went into mid-calf, just stepped completely into a bog hole, so my feet are absolutely soaking. So the second job that I want to do when I get to the halfway point is get these socks off, dry my feet, change the protective tape that I have on my heels as well, because the last time I went out and did a long walk, the 30k walk, I got a really bad blister in my heels, my right heel in particular, so I have them taped to reduce friction and prevent blisters. But the fact that my socks are wet is worrying, because that makes you more prone to blisters. So the plan always was to change my socks at the halfway point anyway, but I really need to do it today, and there's no point doing it until then, because this is still boggy now, this descent down. I've about a kilometre of a descent down the side of the hill here, and then I hit a track, and then I've probably got 2, maybe 3 kilometres along that track. So what I'm hoping is that I can squeeze, squelch the most of the moisture out of my shoes, and because I'm going to be putting dry socks into wet shoes, which is far from ideal, but sure, that's all I can do anyway. But I'm really glad to get that bit over, because this is always going to be the toughest part of the walk, and it's definitely lived up to its billing anyway. So yeah, just need to get down now here. This isn't going to be easy going down either, because it's just the same kind of terrain as what I came up, and yeah, get down to that football pitch, get some more water, change my shoes, change my socks, and maybe get a wee bite to eat as well. So yeah, need that. Made it off the hill, thank God for that. Back on the track again, and this is where the alternative route and the official route meet back up again. So almost wish I'd taken the alternative route, but no, I made it, and I made it over the hill. It was bloody hard work, but I made it over. So just over 24k now, another couple of kilometers, and that'll bring me down to the football pitch, and I'm going to take a bit of a break here, so for about maybe 15-20 minutes, try and get my feet dried up a wee bit and sorted out, and then fingers crossed it's pretty much track, I think, the whole way now to the end. So that is definitely the hardest part of it done. So yeah, here we go, on we go, on the move again. I was going to say fed and watered, but I've been kind of grazing all day. That's the plan. I'm not really stopping for a proper meal stop, but I needed a bit of a longer break there at that football club. So it took 20 minutes, 25 minutes I think actually it took there as a break, but I just needed it. I needed to get the shoes off, and I needed to change out of the dirty wet socks and put on new dry clean ones, so I feel a lot better for having done that. So I think that was a good move. My shoes are still damp inside, but sure, the socks are clean anyway at least. And I put on new tape on my heels as well, because the problem with that tape is when it gets wet it comes off and then it starts rubbing inside the sock, and that's going to counteract any benefits that it was given in the first place. So clean socks, new tape. I wish I could say new legs. I've almost 28 kilometers done now, so I figure I'm looking at probably a 13-hour finish, finishing sometime between 8 o'clock and 8:30, which would be perfect timing in terms of daylight, because it'll just be starting to get dark at that time. Sorry, I'm just checking in case I have to turn off, but no, stayed on yet for a while. I'll probably get sick of it shortly, but it's good to be on the tire road for a while. I was getting sick of squelching through those bogs. The only problem I have now to sort out is that there wasn't an outside tap at that football club, which is what I was hoping for, so they could refill my bladder. But as I said earlier, I do have my filter with me, so I'll get a stream along the way here somewhere and top that back up again. I've got about half a litre, I'd say, left in the bladder, so I have enough to do me for the next hour or so, and then hopefully get it topped up. Feeling surprisingly okay. I am tired, I can feel it in my legs and I can definitely feel it in my feet, but I've no worries, no concerns about not being able to get finished. And I'm hoping that in terms of terrain and track, that this second half is going to be easier than the first half, and hopefully a lot drier. Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful up here. Views way out to the west as well, out over Donegal Bay. Really beautiful. Really makes up for the hard slog earlier on. And as you can see here, it's a really very active turf cutting area as well. So it's coming near the end of the season now. Just past two guys down there bringing in the turf, loading up the tractor and everything as well. So I'd say it's been a tough year for anybody bringing in the turf with a very wet summer, but it's given the next couple of weeks right and dry, so I'd say there'll be a frenzy of activity up here over the next couple of weeks, looking to get the turf in now before it's destroyed. Although looking at it, most of it's all bagged up anyway, so they must have got it fairly dry anyway. So, but no, this bit's absolutely lovely. Over there, let's see if I can get on the camera. Over there is all very familiar. That's the high Bluestacks, and I think that's Strull Valley over there as well. Maybe, no, sorry, Eglish Valley, which I was in a couple of weeks ago with the hiking club. So I'm looking forward to getting around and meeting the Eglish River again. I'll really be on the home run then at that stage. But just over 30k done now, and I'm tired. I will say it, I'm tired, but changing the socks back at that football club was the best thing I ever did. It's made a huge difference. My feet are a lot happier now, and hopefully the shoes will start to dry out now as well. So, but I'm enjoying this bit. I was right with my first guess earlier. That is Strull Valley, just out there in the distance. You can see, just about see, the top of the Greymare's waterfall. So that's the walk that I did earlier in the year, and that's the high Bluestacks up there. So yeah, that was the walk I did earlier on. I did a loop of Strull Gap, so I went up behind that farm at the bottom, up the track, up onto the Bluestack Ridge, and across that col at the back there, and then back down the side of the valley again. So that was another great walk too. So I feel like I'm really getting into home territory now. I feel very close to Donegal town, because to get to that farm and to get to the start of that walk I would have driven into Donegal town and back out the road again, but there's a good bit of dog legging to do before before I get to Donegal town. I have to get down onto the shores of Loch Esk as well. So, but no, it is a nice wee lift. I feel like I'm close to the end now. Even though it's still 20 kilometers to do, but no, I feel like I'm ticking down now. It's a good boost that to see the valley like that, as well as the fact that it's beautiful anyway. So, a couple of minutes ago, or just about 30 seconds ago, I suppose, I just passed another milestone. I turned over 33k, which is the longest distance I've ever walked in one day, and I'm not finished yet. My previous walk was just over 32k, or 20 miles, which I did probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, but that was all on local roads around the house, and I'd wanted to beat that occasion. I wanted to beat my previous best, which was just over 30k. It was 30.5, which was actually doing the Bluestack challenge 12 years ago. So it's quite fitting now that I beat that on the Bluestack Way. Quite chuffed about that. So 33k done, longest walk ever. Still probably about another 18 kilometers to do, but they're starting to count down rightly. I'm just hoping now that this track that I'm on keeps going for the rest of the way, because it's really nice walking. This whole area here is just lovely. I'm really enjoying it, and the sun's out and beaming, the sky's blue. There's a nice wee breeze just keeping the edge off the heat. Couldn't ask for anything more than this, could you? Get my first view of Loch Esk, which is a very welcome sight. For the last kilometre and a half, or feeling like the last 3 hours, I've been trudging up this track. It's been steady uphill past the English Valley and along this just gravel track, but I've now reached the high point, and I'm about to drop down towards Loch Esk, and then hopefully a fairly flat walk the whole way back into Donegal town. I'm between 38 and 39 kilometers, and I'm really feeling it now, to be honest. My right foot is giving me a lot of pain. The heel's a wee bit iffy, but the pads of my right foot just behind my toes are getting quite sore. My feet, as I said earlier on, got absolutely drenched, and I was walking in soaking wet socks for quite a while, and that was the foot that I could feel just a bit sensitive, and it was grand for quite a while after I changed my socks, but the shoes are wet, so eventually the socks got wet as well, and the little liner sock in against my foot is damp, not soaking but damp, and it's rubbing quite annoyingly now on my right foot pad, and I've probably got a blister developing there now, but sure, there's nothing more I can do about it. I stopped back a couple of kilometers ago and slathered it in Vaseline, but it was only a temporary help, so it's probably all rubbed off again anyway. But yeah, at least it's all downhill now. I've probably 2 or 3 kilometers, I think, on this track, maybe a wee bit more before it turns into something more hard pack. I've been on it before because we use this as a starting point for going up into the Bluestack Ridge. I'm up towards Loch Bell Shade as well, so I know this track pretty well from the hiking club. But it's just messy, hardcore, lots of big stones in it and stuff like that, which with tired feet aren't much fun. But then I don't like guitar either, so yeah. So get down off this and get down onto the flat stuff, but I'm absolutely delighted to see Loch Esk anyway. So I've had to put the headphones in as well to keep the head focused. I'm listening to Mark Beaumont and his Round the World in 80 Days World Record Challenge, kind of puts everything into into a different kind of context. Although he's doing it 16 hours a day on the bike, fully supported with the team, averaging 240 miles a day. So that's nuts. It really is. But this is hard enough for me. I'm walking down this lovely wee country road through loads of trees, heading down towards Harvey's Point on the shores of Loch Esk, and I've just passed 42k which is the marathon distance. Absolutely chuffed about that, but Jesus, I am dying. My legs are pretty done in at this stage, and my feet are absolutely killing me. My left foot is just sore from walking, just basically I'm foot sore there, and I've got at least one, if not two blisters on my right foot, one on my heel and one under the pads of on the pads just behind my toes that I talked about earlier. That's probably the worst thing at the minute. If it wasn't for that sore right foot, everything else would be a lot easier to put up with, or maybe I'd just be stressing about them instead. But yeah, I can smell the end now, but it still feels like a long way away. It's at least 8 kilometers, probably more like 9, which realistically at the speed I'm walking now is about an hour and a half. It's 6:15, so I'm actually going to get in a wee bit earlier than I expected at the halfway point. I'm going to get in, I'd say, before 8 o'clock anyway, so quite pleased about that as well. That would 8:05 would be 13 hours, so we'll be well pleased about that. But I'm looking forward to getting down onto the shores of Loch Esk here. Going past Harvey's Point Hotel, if I don't lose my head in the branch before then. Slightly over 47 kilometers done, and I'm absolutely beat. I'm completely done in. I'm just about moving now at the moment on willpower. This last 5k is going to be really tough. The last 5k was hard, but this bit here is going to be even harder, I think. My right foot, well, my whole body feels like it's in bits at the minute, but my right foot feels like I'm walking on glass. My left knee's aching a bit out, and my legs are just generally really tired. I'm really struggling to take in any food now as well. I think my system's just going, no, just stop. So I'm not going to stop. I've come this far now. I'm going to make it to the end, but this last half an hour, it's the first time I've thought all day, Jesus, why am I doing this? But longer than half an hour since the 42k mark, I've really mentally I've been struggling and pushing myself to keep going and just about managing it. Every step's bringing me closer to the end. That's all I can keep thinking. I figure it's going to be about 51.5, 52k by the time I'm finished. It's lovely here actually, but you know what? I don't even have the energy to appreciate it properly. The last sort of 3k have been through the woods in and around Solasloch-esque, and it was lovely, but again, I just felt like it was never ending. I just wanted to get out of there. Oh Jesus, now I've got a hill to climb up. Oh fuck. Doesn't look like much in the camera, but Jesus, it looks like a wall from here. Oh, the boys are here, right? Get to the end.